Okay, well, good morning. It's almost 8:30. I'm here at the Jennings State Forest in Florida. Right now it's about 59 degrees. So as you can see, they have all kinds of really nice trails. Some of them are for the horses, but there are some for the hikers. And I'm going to do a 7-mile loop. It's like I said, I've run the trails a couple of times, so they're very, very well maintained. I'll show you some of that. They even do really great job when they do the burning, and they go ahead and they take care of everything. So it's very nice. And I'm going to be taking all of the pink trails, and the pink trails actually go to over here to a little camp spot, but it's I wouldn't recommend. I'll show you. It's nice if you're going to bring a vehicle, but that's the thing. It has a vehicle access. All right. So this morning is just going to be just a shakedown for myself. So not yet a mile in, but you can see when you're hiking the trail here at Jennings State Forest. So you can. It's it's well blazed. You can see I'm following the pink blazes. This is a connector with the two different horse trails. So most of it's highlands, but you can see as we come down here, you know, there's a couple of creek crossings that you'll go over, and they're very nice. Like I said, there's this one, and then there's another one on the return. I have no idea about the water source here. Maybe there's park rangers to talk to, but very nice. And then you can see it's well maintained. They got hard rocks here. It's also in the other place. And you can see it's all cut very nicely. Once again, it's about a 7-mile loop. Depending how I'm feeling and the time I'm making, I'll probably do it twice. But like I said, it's all in all, it's a very beautiful, very easy trail. Once again, you can see very, very clearly marked. Yep. All right. Talk to you in a little while. Oh, over here is part of where they're doing all the cleanup. And let me just show real quickly. Like I said, this is what I'm talking about. Just them constantly maintaining. And they do a lot of controlled burns here. I think this is one area, especially when the palmetto bushes are getting more and more close to the trailer. You can see this is all controlled, because you can see it stops here and it's over here also, but there's nothing connecting the two. So all in all, just very, very beautiful forest. So what's nice also about this trail, even though once again it's not that many, once again it's about 7 miles, you get into all the different terrain, which is very nice. So here it's like scrub oaks, I think they're called. So like I was mentioning, so I'm just doing this today just to kind of just a little change of pace. I've been doing a lot of road running because I do have it's a 10-mile race this Sunday. That's one of the starts of all the long distance running in Jacksonville, Florida, which we're close to my parents' house that I'm staying at right now. So like I said, we're going to do that Sunday. It's a 10-mile. It's in conjunction with the holiday, so you run through the cemetery, which is on the roads, of course. But yeah, you can see how there's really nice terrain changes. There's also it's up a little very, very small hills, little rolling, nothing major. I'm actually, when I go, once again, if I'm going to go and do the the trail twice. I'm actually going to do it in the opposite direction. So I'll go uphill this. So you can see it's a little, just little, nothing. It's all Florida-ist. So I've been fortunate. I have done the parts of the Appalachian up in North Georgia, and also Pine Mountain, which was very beautiful. Would have been, I did it a little day hike there. I would have liked to have done an overnight. It's very, very beautiful. Everything up in North Georgia, but even here you can see Florida has its own beauty. Big, giant, majestic pines. Here's a culvert crossing. So you can. Once again, you can see how very, very blazed the trail is. It's very nice. And I do appreciate everybody's patience. First of all, thank you for coming out here and watching, spending some time watching this vlog. As I'm, of course, very new to this, part of this hike not only is a little bit of just the shakedown, seeing what the pack feels like, just kind of getting a good feel for it again, and a little, changing up my training right now, is also to practice what I'm doing right now, and that's talking to you. So once again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time, because that's, I really am very grateful that you want to spend a little time and watch what I'm doing. So hopefully as I grow as a vlogger, hopefully you'll see that change. Or if this is me in the future, because nobody's going to watch these videos. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let me just keep hiking. So I think you can see it here. So this is what's North Florida is known for, and I think another part in Central Florida too, is just sinkholes. So basically where the water underneath just basically where the receded underground, which causes then the top area to collapse downwards. Yeah, pretty much coming up to the halfway mark. It's about 3.25 right now. So this is one of the entrances to the campsite, and they have a nice, really nice looking pit toilet. There's even, you can see, a little barricade. And then you have to take a couple of trails that lead you back down to the campsites. So I'm going to walk down there, but I'm not going to video until I get down there, because I'm not sure if anybody spent overnight, but once again, today is Tuesday, so I'm not sure. But just in case, just trying to be neighborly. So clearly, no martinis. It's martini hour. All right, let's go ahead, and there must be an information stand over there, but I know that these are the trails, or at least this is one of the trails that go down there, because I ran this one the other day. It's all right. When I get down there and I know the coast is clear, I'll start videoing again. A few minutes later. So there actually was a gentleman down there. His name was Billy. Really, really nice guy. He had a trailer with, he must be a scoutmaster or something. He had some really nice gear. He had everything in a nice, tubs, and had all this stuff organized. And so we chatted for a little bit. He says he comes out and camps out there once again at the it's more car camping. I looked around. Like I said, I wasn't going to film it if I saw people. So he was there. We actually chatted for a little bit. It was very nice. Very, very, very nice guy. Basically, like everybody out here. But I also walked around a little bit. There was a beautiful fire ring with benches all around it. Maybe I should have taken a picture of it. But there was also another tent at another one of the sites. And it was one of those 6 to 8, person tents. So it was a rather significant size. So I wasn't going to go walk over there. Don't want to disturb a family or anything. So all of the campsites are clearly built for vehicles to park in. There definitely is like a hard flat top, but they all have park benches. There's fire rings. Once again, there's that one big giant communal fire ring. So I'm sure if you have they do events with, a bunch of campers coming out there, I'm sure it's very, very nice. But once again, it's something, this is, it's only a 7-mile hike. So 3 miles in, I'm not gonna, but even if it was, a good amount of miles in, with the road access, it just opens it up to be, unfortunately, problematic at times. Most of the time, it's going to be very, very nice. But I prefer, I'm like I won't say most, but I'm like some of the backpackers that vlog on YouTube. I'm an introvert, so I can talk, as you can tell, but I prefer to just be alone, not have to deal with a lot of stuff. So once again, I appreciate our relationship, between me and you, the viewers. So thank you. And I'm just going to keep walking. Yeah, so I thought I'd just share this with you. So once again, the trail is really, really nice, but you can see every once in a while there's a couple of stumps kind of right there. And as it goes with my trail name, that like when I've gone out here running, I have hit those stumps and fell to the ground several times out here. So, when you're hiking, it's a little bit different, but I know that if I'm hiking with like some kind of like timeline and I'm like really, really having to rush myself, I will typically wind up on the ground. So I'm always knocking those stumps. So yeah, just thought I'd show you. Other than that, like I said, the trail, I mean, you can't complain at all. This is such a wonderfully maintained trail. So I do have to mention that throughout the trail, these benches are very common. And, if you get something in your shoe or anything, I've got some gaiters on, but, a bench is very refreshing when you have to take a shoe off or something like that. So we're in another one of those low areas, and you can see how it quickly changes. There's more of a canopy here, and there is another water crossing. Once again, a little tiny bridge, but it's it's cute. So once again, I would not drink from the water around here. It's too close to highways and all kinds of roads. I'm not really sure. And I don't know if that foam is an indicator, but it's a beautiful creek. So we got these really beautiful big open fields like this, which I'm sure there's probably several deer crouched down somewhere. You know, as you're walking the trails, you'll see there's fresh deer tracks everywhere. I did see one as soon as I got on trail this morning. You know, once again, that was about 8:30, but it saw me too, and she was out of sight within no time. I didn't even have time to get my camera, and I was probably a good 75, 50 yards away from her, something like that. She was a distance, and she took off before I could even get my camera out. But there's, yeah, once again, I'm sure here there's several of them just, you know, crouching down for the day, because it's already, I don't know what time it is, probably close to 10 o'clock. So I don't know if they're going to be that active this late in the morning. But there's definitely tons of fresh tracks. And I usually see, every time I come out here, I'll usually see one, if not, you know, just maybe, you know, like 2 or 3 together. But if they were standing up, this would be a place to spot them, that's for sure. I'm probably a mile to the trailhead, and when I get there, I'll show you what that kind of looks like. And then I'm going to turn back around and just walk it the opposite way. And all in all, I feel really, really good. You know, this is where I really, really enjoy being. I know I'm talking right now, you know, for the videos, but it definitely is. I do have earbuds, but I usually don't wear them when I'm hiking. You know, when I run, yeah, it's a little bit different, you know. But here, I just like to hear everything kind of settle my mind. Coming up with what the next adventure is going to be. So this is a very nice little adventure right here itself. Just enjoying it, taking it all in. It's what being outside is all about. And I know that there's some people that, you know, they just, for whatever reason, that they don't have the ability or the chance to make it out here. That's why I'm glad that I can, like, you know, video, kind of like bring it to your living room, to your office, to your cell phone, because I can tell you, I enjoy watching. There's some amazing content creators out there that they're just, you know, their whole channel is just outdoor living, outdoor exploring, just very, very, very nice. And I know when I watch it, I get very inspired, and it just feels good. You know, all this green is good for your eyes. At least that's what they told me at the rifle range. When I was, I was in the Marine Corps. I was active duty back in 90 through 96. When we were at the rifle range, The rifle instructors used to always tell us, look at the green, it's good for your eyes. It's like, okay, fine. So, all right. Though no rifle range today, now it's just looking at the green and it's good for your eyes. All right. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock right now, so 2.5 hours in, and just a little bit over 7 miles. Not too bad. Once again, I'm stopping, doing this filming and everything, but okay, so really is, it's like right at 11 o'clock. So let's see, I'm gonna go back the same way I came, and we'll see how long it takes me to get back. This time, a little less stopping and a little bit more just hiking. All right, see you in a little bit. Pretty good time. Yeah, so all in all, been very, very nice out. I've been silk blazing, in other words, walking through spider webs, which would tell me that either there's some really busy spiders or I'm the only person out here today. This is very nice. I haven't seen anybody other than up at that campsite. So it's been very, very nice. All in all, feels really good. Coming in right around 9 miles right now for the day. Yeah, but like I said, very good. My pack, I didn't mention it earlier. I have all the measurements at home, but if I'm not mistaken, my pack weighs right now 26.3 pounds. And before we all, so I'm carrying 5 days worth of food on me in my bear can. And the only reason why I do a bear can is not for the bear's sake. It's just, I like to have a portable chair. It's very nice. So wherever you're at, you have that. Yeah, yes, I am carrying a few extra pounds, but I do know people that are buying ultralight seats that you carry in your backpack. So, mine dual purpose. So, but I think my big three, mind you, that's with the tent. I am carrying all my stakes to include my extras and the poles, because it's a semi-freestanding. So the big three altogether, I think, weighed 12.5 pounds. So considering all the other, bips and bobs that I'll be carrying along, I'm still probably, my base weight is going to be under 20 pounds. And I'm okay with that. I'm not looking to be, ultra lightweight, and I get it. there is a joy to that unto itself. My understanding is like you're just walking through the woods. You really don't feel like you're carrying anything, which I can sit there and see the draw and the love for that. But you know, a man like myself, you know, I've always got a little bit of weight to lose. So my attitude is, you want to carry less weight when you're hiking. I tell myself, yeah, well, maybe one less, you know, handful of potato chips at the end of the day. So, you know, I'll gladly lose, you know, 10 pounds so I can carry, you know, an additional 10 pounds of food, I guess, you know, within reason, of course. But, yeah, like I said, feeling really, really good. Scenery here is beautiful. No chance of rain. It's a very, very atypical North Florida, you know, fall weather. You know, a little bit right around the 60-degree Fahrenheit in the morning, getting up into the mid 80s, you know, in the afternoon. Today, no chance of rain at all, but with Florida, you know, it's just watch your clock and the weather will change. So you just never ever know. But from what we're seeing for the next, at least the next several days, it's supposed to be clear all day, which is fine. Okay. Like I said, all in all, this is going very, very well. All right, coming close to the end. I think somewhere after 12 o'clock. So I think I'm making far better miles on the back half. Yeah, but we'll see. Still got a little bits to go. So I always think this. Like I said, they really do. They do their best to really do a lot of control burning out here. It's just amazing. Once again, how they keep the trail so accessible. Because once again, you know, I'm out here today, and I haven't seen anybody for all the hours I've been out here. Like I said, I typically go running here on Sundays. And there, you know, I do see, you know, I saw like, you know, one additional runner, and then every once in a while some hikers and stuff like that. But just really, really just super day hikers, just, you know, just people just out here walking. Because once again, it's, you know, it's a 7-mile loop. So no need to take out any gear. Like I said, I'm just doing it just to get a shakedown. I already found, I have some gaiters that I bought. And since the shoes that I have, so I got some trail runners, you know, just some cheap knockoff brand. So they have, which is very nice, is they have that little piece of tape that you put on the you know, the Velcro on the, you know, the back of the shoe, because, you know, some of the more high end or some of the more, I guess, better designed trail runners have a little tab that you can lift up, and there's the Velcro there to hook on. So with these, it's very nice to give you a little stick-on piece of Velcro. Well, needless to say, it failed already, so that was a good thing. I'll put some Gorilla Glue or some kind of really, you know, very strong epoxy or something, and really attach it well to the bottom, you know, whelp of the shoe. So, you know, that went, you know, very nice. That's good to know. And then the other thing too, which I found pretty amazing, I went and I was watching a video. I forgot the channel's name, if I can remember it, or I'm sure I'll mention it again, and I'll put a link then, or, you know, whatever point that I get to. But basically, the Fuji water bottles were recommended, and you know, they actually are really, really good. I bought the 1 liter. I've had no issues. You know, the whole thing is reaching back, you know, and trying to get to the water and getting it to pull out. And then the big one is putting it back. And I guess because it's square, once you get a bottom quarter in it, you can twist it a little bit or turn it a little bit, and it actually pushes the netting out naturally. And it's been a delight. I've been, you know, taking my water out, putting my water back in with no problems whatsoever. And as you know, I don't know, I've seen enough backpacking videos in my day that one of the common struggles is getting to the water. I know a lot of people have the front clips, so you can clip the water bottle onto your front shoulder strap. I'd rather not. You know, I do have a phone case, which I really like. I think that's enough for me, to, you know, for up front. Unless, you know, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. So I'm getting back down to that down area that has the little river, you know, the little creek crossing. So it's just right down in here. And from here, it's like, I think it's less than a mile to the trailhead. Like I said, felt really good. You know, you drank the whole liter of water, and I ate a banana. I still have, you know, 2 more snacks if I want them, but I'm not really that hungry. So right here's the crossing. And once again, like I said, they put out these, you know, these rocks and everything, and they really do. They really take care of the trail. So hats off to the Forestry Service, you know, here in Florida for maintaining this trail so well. Never even looked to see if there's an association. There might be a trail maintenance association, trail association associated with the association that was associated with this trail. All right, that's enough of me babbling. All right, like I said, doesn't really say, it's not really showing this away too. old Jennings, but this is the way. So probably come back when I'm done. All right, I made it back to the truck. I didn't record right at the trailhead. There's a few cars here, and I ran into, there's a person running and also another gentleman walking and everything. So it was 14.25 miles, and it took about 5 hours. So it's about a 3 mile an hour pace, which I was thinking. It said something about like the elevation gain was like 500 feet. So I was climbing some of those really, really big mountains. And other than that, it was like I said, it was easy, felt good. Just going to head home and get something to eat. All right. Thanks again for stopping by. Your buddy Stump Knocker here, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.